Hi, I'm KatelynSughroueCyberBullyingPresentation, and I'm going to talk to you about the background of cyberbullying. So first off, we're going to talk about how does cyberbullying happen, what effect it has on students, and how it can be prevented. Cyberbullying is commonly referred to as when students get harassed by other students or even unknown people go and harass students through emails, texting, you name it. A more common way of cyberbullying is done by Snapchat, or even Facebook has become very commonplace. So many times people can create fake accounts on Facebook, become a person's friend, and then bully them. And other times there can be students that have a fake relationship just online with people and then break up with them just to harass them. Cyberbullying really easily happens by text messaging other students through their phones, and a lot of times through chat rooms, although those are more declining in the technology age. So the new bullies is cyberbullying. It's come more commonplace than physical bullying since anyone can do it and they can be anonymous while they do it. And so many times students are afraid to come out and talk about it because they don't even know who's bullying them, which makes it hard to go and put the person that's doing it in responsible for what their actions have done. And even as some examples have stated, students don't want to come out and say they've been bullied when it might have even been the principal's son, and they might get ridiculed then instead of having the bully get in trouble. This is a common example of Facebook bullying, and they can post on your wall, they can private message you, they can post embarrassing pictures, and even make it so you can't see it but everyone else can. And this has become really hard for people to control, and that brings me to my next subject, which is what effect does cyberbullying have on adolescents? So many times students are just so scared to come out, like I said, and so as my next picture shows, it can come over the computer through anyone anonymous, and without a real known bullier, it's hard for students to go and correct the problem. And with internet being accessible on their phone, their laptop, and at home, in public, or even at school, it makes them hard to avoid it when it's always there. Although they do say that if you aren't internet accessible with your students or with your children, then it's less likely for them to be cyberbullied. And here's a graph showing that 25% had an experience that resulted in face-to-face argument or confrontation with someone, and as it goes on, 22% ended their friendship because something that happened on social media, to all these different factors that figure in when students come to being on the internet, and there's no control over it. Yes, you can go and send a click that it says it's abusive or it's inappropriate on Facebook, but Facebook goes through and approves it or disapproves it, and there's really no control over what people can or cannot post. Which brings me to my next matter: how can this be prevented? So many times principals or teachers, they worry about their students being cyberbullied, although what can they do about it? Many schools have come together and talked about changing rules, but they can only control so much on their computers. When students leave the school setting, they're out on their own in the free world, and so it makes it hard for principals to set rules before becoming too invasive in the students' privacy. Some schools had tried implementing the idea of anything accessed on their computers was able to be overviewed by school faculty to check that no one was getting cyberbullied, but too many parents fought it over and thought that was too invasive on their kids and on their privacy. So it makes it really hard to control it, although many parents, or should I say not so many parents, are overviewing what their students do online. And those that do go and check on their kids while they're on the internet have been more able to prevent cyberbullying, and some parents that have been very innovative and have caught up with technology are coaching their kids on how to go against the bullying and how to go and treat it. They teach them how to treat it as a real problem and coach them through how to fight against it. And many students said that this really boosted their self-esteem and it helped them overcome the problem. Not only were they able to face it online through their cyberbullying, but any conflicts they had in person, they knew how to work through it. I wish more parents would go and do this with their kids. Not only would they be able to see the signs of cyberbullying before it really happens, but they'd also know how to fight against it and prevent it. And a lot of times, students can just go and unfriend people on Facebook, but too many times there's those technology savvy people that can go and hack through passwords or hack through your privacy settings on Facebook and still get pictures to make fun of you, or they themselves can just go and post on their own site and make fun of you themselves. So many times you see the movies how cyberbullying goes on this one website, although many times in small town schools, at least that I've experienced, it isn't that extreme, but I imagine it could happen in bigger schools. Although on smaller scales and more popular, it happens through Facebook. Just so many times the messaging of harassment and posting of inappropriate things, and now it's even spread on to Twitter. And Twitter, you're unable to go and delete that post, and yes, they have controls that you can say that it was inappropriate, but still, it's really out of the student's control. And so as my graph shows, many parents don't even believe that they need to have limits on internet to protect their kids. They're so oblivious to the fact that their kids could be victims of cyberbullying, but yet they do nothing about it. And so many parents are not technology savvy enough to even prevent cyberbullying by placing limits on the internet or placing limits on certain sites or what they do. Although those parents that have been able to set guidelines and set limits on internet have really helped their kids prevent cyberbullying and also have higher self-esteem by realizing what real friends they have instead of basing all of it on social media. And don't forget, cyberbullying affects real lives and those around you. And as I said, it affects over half of the youth in America by cyberbullying. And these are my sources. Thank you.